Hey guys, it's Mondragon. Today I'm just going to be looking back at this game that I played on my Twitch stream. Pretty much what it showcased really well is how to play the early stages of the laning phase and how to go into the game having a plan and executing that plan. We did end up throwing this game towards the mid to late game. I personally blame myself for doing so, but let's just take a look at how you should be going into lane, how you should be approaching each game that you play to better help you win these games. All right, let's take a look. All right, so actually, right off the bat, something I do want to explain, and something that I see a lot of people that I've coached, and just people that I've seen been coached, or all of that, is people don't go into games asking themselves like, oh, what does my lane mean? What is this game? How am I going to play this game out? How am I going to play this game different than I did last game? So first thing that I noticed, and I was saying it on stream, is my thought process behind that is, what do I see between this Xayah Rakan against a Sivir and Sona? So let's break it down right now. So what I see pretty much is that I have around, I think, like 500 range on the Sivir. The Sona, I'm not so sure her range, but it's around, I would say, similar to mine, the 500, but she's pretty short range. She does have her Q, which pokes really well, and we also have heals. So we're kind of like a poke sustain type of heavy pushing lane, because of my W and my Q and how quick Sivir can actually push. And what I see on their side is that the Xayah has around like 525. I'm pretty sure she has a little bit more range than I do. But she has a little bit more range than I do. She also has her Q, which pokes, but she's a bit tricky when laning, because you have to set up your feathers correctly. If she does end up landing those feathers, then it's going to be really good for her, and that's one of her win conditions. The other win condition that they have is that the Rakan is really good at locking a player down. So you're going to really see this throughout the game, that the Sona is going to end up getting caught out a lot. And that's probably going to be our biggest loss condition right there, and their biggest win condition, is that they have really good engage. And if they do engage on the right target, then they're going to lock us down and beat us in lane. So that's pretty much what I see. In terms of like level spikes, I see that the level 1, we should fairly win it. Because I don't see the Xayah is going to start W, her attack suite, since she's going with Rakan. So she's going to start W. She's not going to have any way of pulling back her feathers, or any way of like, stacking a 3 feather and pulling it back or anything. She's not going to have a lot of all in or anything to trade with. The Rakan doesn't have much. I believe they usually start Q, but I think that's his healing one. But I believe they start Q. If not, they're gonna start their W, which is the one that CCs you and knocks you up. So what that tells me, that they don't have a well level 1 enough to like really go in on us and like trade on us. And then I see our side, and we have the Q from the Sivir, which does a lot of damage, around like 100 and something, almost close to 200 damage. And then we also have the Sona, which has her Q, or she could even go heal, but most likely her Q to poke them down with Airy. So we have a lot more damage level 1. If we do end up getting elite level 1, that means that level 2 we have another lead on them, and then we just control the lane and control the wave off of that lead, the level 1 lead. So right off the bat, going into game, I already established that I should be pushing very hard at level 1 and trying to get level 2 as soon as possible, but also poking them down, because I know they can't retaliate any damage back onto us. The other thing that I did say while I was streaming is that the only way that they could actually win this lane is if they catch out the Sona. And if they catch her out, that pretty much means she's fully out. Because, like, I mean, imagine the Rakan just jumping onto you, W, knock you up, and then, he ults you, and then all the Xayah has to do is just walk up and auto attack, and that's pretty much it. By the time he's done with her, it's going to be like half health. She's going to be like half health or so, and then she's pretty much dead instantly. It happens a lot in this game. I think she just reacted a little bit slow and didn't predict it. But the biggest thing that will cause us to lose will be this Sona misstepping. I don't have a big problem with me misstepping. So I did say that we have a short range. I have that 500 range. I don't have a problem with me misstepping, because I do have my shield, and I also have the Sona to back me up. If they do end up engaging on me, then that means that the Sona could just ult, or she could give me the movement speed buff, or the heal as well in the shield. She also has exhaust, so that's another plus, but I really don't see me being caught out and like struggling so much. So pretty much what I have to do this lane is is be careful of the knockup. And I can either dodge that with my E or just step out of it, whichever I decide to do. It's better to step out of it because then you still have your E up for anything else like his ult or the Xayah feathers or anything that will come your way, you know? Alright, so let's start the game. Let's go a little, fast forward a little. We skip laning phase. The gameplay is a little, the VOD is a little laggy, so sorry about that, but my stream was lagging today. Let's see. All right. All right, so right off the bat, okay, go into lane real quick. All right, so right off the bat, we're off to a really good start. The Kayn started the Raptors, so he's just gonna take this. We get to go into our lane early, and we don't have to worry about leashing and being late into lane. This means that we're gonna be late into lane early, and they're gonna be into lane late because they're leashing the blue buff right now, or they're gonna leash the blue buff. So we go right off the bat. Actually, another thing that I wanted to point out, and that should be always done in the pre-game lobby, like once you're loading up, whether you're like mid or top, is you always want to be looking at the junglers as well. You always want to know who their junglers is and predict what a level 3 or not a level 3 3v3 or a 2v2 looks like. So let's say for example me, you know, we're fighting down bot, it's a 2v2, then out of nowhere the Lee Sin comes or the Kayn comes. Who wins it? You know, you want to ask yourself what happens if us three actually meet in the bot lane and who wins it. So yeah, that's just another factor. Here it's a Kayn and a Lee, they're pretty even on damage. I would say I'm not so sure. Maybe Lee's definitely stronger early game. I think if Kayn gets ahead, he's a little bit stronger, but I'm pretty sure Lee is a lot stronger in early game. So we just got to be a little bit careful with that. Also another thing is make sure that you're tracking the junglers, and I'll explain why as we go further into the video. All right, so right off the bat, like I said, we got the advantage of coming into lane and not having to worry about leashing our jungler, and they do. So what we do is instantly start pushing. I didn't want to push too hard because if I do, then it's gonna reset at level at the time it's level 2, and if that happens, they reach level 2 around the same time we do. So there's no huge lead that we get off of it. I just started like a slow push. I'm really ahead right now in terms of XP and when we're gonna hit level 2. So right now we're just zoning them off. I'm adding a little bit of pressure. You know, she's poking with her Q, her auto. I'm just making sure that we get level 2 because I see her that she's auto attacking a little bit more. We still have a huge lead. Right now we're gonna hit level 2, so I'm pinging. She Qs, I go in, I W, I missed my Q sadly. But you see how they couldn't do anything? That's pretty much what I'm trying to explain here. Is if you go back onto it, Jesus. Let's go back into it. Okay. So they have nothing they can do. They're just walking back and forth. She's trying to auto. She goes for the Q. She hits the Q. And they can't do anything. There's no damage that they could retaliate or anything. She goes for the Q again, the poke. Nothing can happen to us. That's pretty much what I meant right there. And then we're about to hit level 2. The reason I know that is because, just in case you didn't know, it's the first wave which gives you 6, and then on the second wave it has to be 3 melees. The first 3 melees will give you 6, so 9 farm in general, or in total I mean. That'll give you level 2, and if you get that first, that means you could, and if you do have a strong level 2 or a advantage over them on level 2, then you should definitely be looking to abuse that. Here, that's pretty much what we do, and I planned it before we went into game, so this is something I planned before we went into game. This is why I'm already pinging, and I was already pushing the lane, because I knew how I wanted to play this lane out. So then we do get that off. She gets the Q. She backs up a little bit too far. I guess she wasn't in the same page, but if she just stayed up here and started auto, she could have gotten probably like 2 or 3 autos off, and he would have gotten a little bit lower. Um, it's completely fine, but it's something that if she recognized the same thing that I was if she was on the same page that I was, then she could have definitely we could have definitely punished the Rakan a little bit more. I think he was at like almost like 280 health or something. I think if she weaved in another 2 auto attacks, he could have gone down to like 180 or something, AP or HP, sorry. And then that pretty much means that he's off the lane for a good amount of time, like in terms of pressure. So she came back in a little bit too late. We just started pushing it in. Right now I'm tracking the jungler as well. That's why I ping the red side right here, because it's around 230. Yeah, 230. So it's around 230. That's usually when the jungler had already cleared his blue. So let's say he started blue, which in this case he did. Since we saw them that they came into lane late, that means that he went blue, wolves, and then onto his red. It's a general clear. It's a strong clear for Lee Sin. They could technically also do Gromp, but then that means that they'll be at the top side of the map a little bit late. And considering that the Heimerdinger is a lane bully and he wants to be pushing the lane up, it's a really bad idea for him to do that, because he wants to protect the Heimerdinger from the King coming into gank. If that is a opportunity that presents itself. But as you can see, the Kane is on the blue side right now. It's the same thing for the Lee Sin, so it's kind of just mirrored itself. And they'll end up meeting around right here at the 3-minute mark. But yeah, that's just me pinging it there, just so people know that the Lee Sin is there. So just back off a little bit. I don't want to be too far up into the turret. Take some unwanted trades or anything. Just reset the wave. It's right now it's going to be pushing towards us. Sets. Just letting it push back towards us. I know that the reason I'm doing this because I know I don't have the most control over this lane anymore. He's already level 2, which means that they're a little bit stronger than us, because now they could actually, you know, you can actually W in and then Q, she could actually go in, W, auto, feathers, and then trace them back if she wanted to. If not, it's still just like a really safe and just a better play to just let the wave push back into you. Another reason why is because it's about to hit the 3-minute mark. Around the 3-minute mark, the jungler already finished the top side, so he has already decided, or around the 340 or so, he has already decided where he wants to path. So he's either gonna go from red onto top, or scuttle, or he's gonna go mid. If not, he's gonna start clearing his raptors. He's not gonna clear Krugs, or he's gonna go into his jungle. There's like a couple options that he has, but around the 4-minute mark, like 4:30 or so, 4 minutes to like 5, they're already on the blue side of the map. So if I get control of this lane and I have it push it all the way up, and then I freeze it along these lines down here, then that means I have full control of the lane. And now by the time he does decide to come down here, so like around the 5-minute mark or so, I'm gonna have the lane locked down here, so he actually can't gank us or anything, and he can't like pressure us to kill us. You know, we're not gonna have to waste our flash. We're not gonna have to do anything of that. We'll just be safe under our turrets. That's the reason I'm letting her push it into me right now, so I could just freeze it back here and be a little safe once the Lee Sin does decide to come down here. Drink a little water. This is his last hit. Second. That Q, I said I messed it up because it would have probably pushed it. But you see what I mean right there? So he went in. He went in, as you saw, he went in, and then I just eat it. And nothing happens after that. He just backs out. He goes back to Zaya, and that's it, you know? There's nothing else he could really do. The only bad part about this is that the Sona ended up walking up a little bit too far and needed a lot of auto text and feather damage. I did it too. I took like around 80 damage maybe off of the feathers and all that, but an auto text maybe, and maybe a Rakan auto or his Q or something. But for the most part, I didn't take that much damage, but the Sona did take a lot of damage there. But that's pretty much what I meant right there. I recognize that there's not a lot of threat, so me standing right here is not that big of a deal. Me standing up here is not that big of a deal. I mean, it's really illogical, but it's not that big of a deal because I know that the Rakan, I have established the thought process or the idea that Rakan can't actually like go in onto me and knock me up. The only reason I would mess it up is if I just react slow and mechanically, you know, put myself in a disadvantage. But the Rakan can't actually just go up to me, W me, knock me up. That shouldn't technically happen. It could happen, but it technically shouldn't happen. I mean, we just saw it there. So right now, this wave is pushing towards us. She's pushing it towards us right now. Kind of just looking around the map, seeing what's going on. Using the F keys to look around the map. Usually missteps right there. That's what I mean by the Sona just misstepping. Yeah, she's pretty much just put herself in a terrible like disadvantage as a support. Look how much health and mana she has, and if you look at the Rakan, I'm pretty sure he's not that low. But if you're Sona, you're this low on mana and health, you're pretty much useless on the rest of the lane. If she had established the same 9 process that I was talking about in the pregame, she would know how to play this lane and how to go on about this lane, and she would have been this low in mana and this low in health. But here we're just looking to freeze it again. Lee Sin is mid right now. I haven't tabbed. Oh, there we go. He has 29 farm. I think he was farming mid. I have Kane in the back right here. Another misstep right there by the Sona that she almost got caught out. Things like that would just lose his lane instantly. Alright, so Lee Sin went down to his wolves. Yeah, his wolves are coming up right now. His Gromp is still up as well. I don't think he actually took it. Now the Yasuo is coming down. Messed it up a little there because I didn't actually freeze the wave there. Let's actually look back at it. Let's see the reason why. I think the reason I didn't do it is because the Sona was a little bit low, and there was we didn't have that much pressure going on for us. Yeah, so there's not a lot of pressure that we have there. I didn't thin out the wave either. I think that was the biggest problem. I was last hitting way too much, and then I didn't thin it out a little. So if it does crash into us, all you pretty much need in this situation, like along this line right here, is 3 casters, and it'll freeze right here. If you have 3 casters and the next wave comes and this wave comes, it'll just keep freezing right here if you just keep last hitting. So all these minions are pretty much useless, or they're not needed there. So if I just thinned it out a little bit and kept those 3 casters, then I could have actually froze it, like pull the wave over here. But if I decided to pull this huge wave over here, that means that they could just chase me out of lane, and then I have to back all the way over here. What happens also is that these casters, since they're a little bit behind, they all end up walking in this direction, but these casters actually end up like over here. And so these casters actually get hit by the turret and they start going down. And then once I do actually reset, the wave has already crashed in because the minions are like all the way up here, and my melee minions will only reach like right here and stop them there. So all the rest of the melee minions and the casters will start going on. They'll start ending up in this vicinity right here, facility. But that's why I didn't decide to pull it over. But if I had just thinned it out, it would have been a lot cleaner. Instead, it just resets. By this time, I know that the Lee Sin is not on the blue side anymore. There's not like huge threat of Lee Sin just coming out of nowhere. We did just see him like a couple seconds ago go into his wolves, like into his blue side. So pretty much he did wolves into Gromp and then probably backed. I didn't actually check if he had already backed to get his items, but I doubt it. Because by the 4:30 minute mark, he was mid lane. and he was already farming too. So I don't think he backed after red and then, you know. They're just looking at top, seeing what's going on there. Lee Sin is mid. Looking at mid, see what's going on. Maybe he uses his flash. I could catch his flash if they don't actually like time it down. That's something that's really helpful if you decide to use your F keys and look around the map. Just looking around the map a little. Yeah, so the reason I pressured there was just to get a good back. So now they back a little bit or later, and we get into the lane a little bit earlier with a good back. They actually decided to stay and keep pushing. I'm thinking that this might have been a disadvantage for us. The reason I say that is because once they get back into lane, they're actually already level 6 and we're still level 5. Or one of us reaches level 6 but the other one doesn't, but they're both level 6. So it's, we missed a little bit of experience there, I think. Or maybe I just didn't actually push out. Yeah, I probably just didn't push out the wave quick enough to get the level 6 boost. Pretty sure, I might be mistaken. I get level 6 after this. Just looking at top, seeing what's going on there. Okay, so they're level 5. I'm already level 6. Sona's not level 6 yet. I think they hit level, yeah. So she hits, Saya hits level 6 right now. And then Rakan hits 6 right after, I believe. Alright, so this is my thought process. I do want to point something out as well. So this is my thought process while this was happening on, or going on, I mean. So okay, so I get into lane, I don't push it in. And then I see that the Kayn and the Zed are on the bot side. So I'm thinking, okay, what can we do with this pressure? We can either do dragon, like force a dragon, or we can dive, or we can look to counter jungle. One of those options. But I know that in all those three options, the right play is to build up a wave and have it push in with a huge wave. The reason I want to do that, and I know to do that, is because if you have a huge wave, let's say you're the Xayah right now. Okay, no, actually not right now. Let me actually go a little bit more forward and we can get a better freeze frame of it. Alright, right now. Okay, so let's say you're the Xayah right now. And you're seeing this going on, but you also have this. Like, what options do you have? Okay, so let's say she actually decides to go and help out the team in the minimap over here. So they're by the blue side. Let's say she actually decides to go and help them. That means she's gonna miss all of this, and then this is actually gonna crash into here. And she's also gonna miss the next wave most likely, because she's gonna go over here. She's gonna spend some time there. She might die. She could risk dying as well. But she's gonna end up missing all of this XP. And what this pretty much does for me as well, by pushing it up with a huge wave, is it applies pressure for me to have them stay bottom. And then I also have the freedom to just go up there and roam without them catching up to us or anything. So pretty much just has her in a situation where she's really pressured and she feels like she needs to gamble something. So she either helps out her team or she is just forced to stay bottom because of the huge wave. So nothing ends up happening. They just clear it out. This is what I meant by the Sona misstepping and getting punished for it. That's pretty much what I meant right there. I had pinged earlier when I had the huge wave as well because they looked like they were roaming down, so I was pinging them to come assist me to look for a dive or something, then to control Dragon as well. There you go. That's pretty much what I meant. Like they're they're never gonna be going for me. They're always gonna be going for the Sonic because they know I have my E up. And I mean, if she does, if it, let's say the Rakan actually W's onto me, knocks me up, and then he ults, by the time all of that happens, the Sona should be like right here, and all she has to do is just ult, and then she either traps the Rakan and he stops chasing, or he traps the Xayah and the Rakan as well, and then they both just stop. You know, there's nothing else that they can really do. If he does end up catching off if the Sona does end up catching off the Rakan and not the Xayah, the Rakan is pretty much the anchor to this lane. Because if the Rakan ends up landing his CC and actually gets a good you know CC around us, then that pretty much means that the Xayah could just come in and auto, you know, pull her feathers back, trap us more. So if the Rakan does end up succeeding, then that means that the Xayah will succeed as well. That's pretty much what happened there. They just went for the Sona, they killed her, and I couldn't really do anything about it. So right here, the Kayn is already on the bot side. And that prediction though. That prediction though. But yeah. Gets the gank off. We start pushing it in, building a little wave. Start chasing him off. Back off. Now we look to go back to the fountain. He roams mid. That was a good roam. I come back into lane. It's gonna freeze right here for me. I recognize that because of 3 caster minions, and that keeps it frozen there, like I said. Just auto attacking. There's not much that they can do about it. I mean, he'll get an auto attack off on me, but then the Sona just heals me back up, so we end up winning the trade. Put down a pink. I see the Zed is roaming a lot too, so we're just gonna look to push it up, apply some pressure, and see if we could dive. All right, so let's go back on that. So we push it up. He comes for the dive. We know that we're gonna dive. The Sona should have ulted a lot sooner there. The reason I path in this direction, is because I know that these feathers are here, and if she does end up eating, they're all gonna go like this. And if she stuns me, then that means that this Rakan pretty much gets away onto the Zed, and they could turn it on the Zed. So if I walk in this direction, I know that I'm free to, or it just gives me more range. I have more freedom to walk up a little bit further than I would if I just got here, got stunned, she pulls it back, I stop right here for about 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds, however long it is, and then by that time the recon will already be on the Z, and if I didn't weave in the last two, I think I weaved in like 2 or 3 auto attacks on him. If I didn't weave in those auto attacks, then the Z probably dies and he gets away, the recon gets away. So that's the only reason of my pathing right there. Maybe let's actually get the double. After that, we try to get dragon control as well. I see that what's it called, mid was pushed up a lot. That Yasuo could have actually taken that turret, so I just decided to go mid. The fucking soda. She's like, wait a minute. Kane stayed bot to push it down, or push it up, I mean, try to get the turret. Just push up mid and then just back off. There's no reason to overextend and overstay. Go back bot to finish off this this turret, and also look to get dragon. So right here, if you see chat, I put down a I told my team what I pretty much wanted to do, what I had in mind. What I had in mind is get this tier 3 right here, take this down, it's already gonna go down, and then we also get dragon and we get dragon control. So what that pretty much means is that there's no neutral objective in bot side anymore, so all of bot side is already pretty much done for, you know. There's no reason to go there for like the next 5 minutes or so. What that pretty much does is it frees this bot side. We have full control of the bot side, and we now get to switch to top and look to grab this herald in tier 3. Once we get herald, we could also just rotate back down bot, and we could grab this bot turret and then bot inhibitor, try to get the inhibitor, try to contest the inhibitor. If not, then we just look to grab mid, a tier 2 top or something. But getting this control of herald and the top side tier 3 as well is really good for us. It just secures the next like five minutes or so of the game, and it just gets us a lot of gold income in a state where it's kind of like mid game. So now we get the turret. I was going to rotate right there, but I saw the Zed coming, so I just decided to help him out a little, see if I could help him out. I think the best play there is to just rotate top though, no matter what. Okay. Fucking allergies. The allergies. Alright, so now we're pretty much just looking for the Herald play. He ends up going in on me, he misses everything. Or he misses his W, I mean. Alright, yep. Alright, so I had said on stream that I couldn't have dodged that any better, but I'm trying to think. Actually doesn't fall. Here's what I'm thinking. If I actually don't go for this, for the for the play to clear this out so it doesn't take the turret. That was pretty much my thought process here. Is I either go back and I let the turret fall, or I go in and I try to pressure this and take that out. It was a little risky, but at the same time it was okay because he was turning on to that. So I knew I wasn't gonna take like full damage off of the Vigar, but I took enough damage from the turret for them to just dive me and kill me. A lot of turret damage. I knew this was already gonna happen. I knew that whole dive was already gonna happen. As soon as I saw my health that low and I saw him like trying to run at me, like all the way back there, I knew that was gonna happen. So I was already looking at my E to shield it off and also flash and heal and all that. I thought I was gonna outplay it, but they ended up just all flashing on me, and I just got wrecked for it. I think if they didn't flash in on me and do all of that, then I either just get away with the kill or I just get away and I don't get the kill. But either way, I just get away. But just a little unlucky. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to showcase. From here, all we pretty much do is we pressure lanes and then we use the herald that we had just gotten. We use it a little improperly. They were looking to grab this right here. They're looking at it, so the Sona pretty much said, let's grab this because it's a free turret. I told him no, spawn at bottom, get this bottom inhibitor, or this bottom turret, I mean. We're already going to grab this no matter what. So if we just keep pushing this, you pressure bottom, spawn herald bottom. We have Zed top right now, and he's going to grab that turret too. If not, then he just backs off. That's pretty much all that happens. We get a little bit of damage on it. This is going to fall for sure if we play correctly. And then Herald is going to be spawn bottom, and we got bottom as well. We have control over bottom, and we have control over mid, and we have pressure on top as well. So that's why I didn't want to push it here, because if we do push it here, that pretty much just means that we open up mid and we don't really gain anything out of it. Instead, just grab, grab mid, grab bot, and we also grab some pressure top as well. So if we do want that free gold of the top turret, then we just decide to go up there and just grab it whenever we want to. But the reason I'm emphasizing that we want to grab bot is because bot bottom inhibitor is it's just the most it gives you the most value, because if you think about it, let's say you're on bottom inhibitor, or let's say you got bottom inhibitor. Now super minions are pushing up this wave, and this wave is pretty much locked up all the way up here, somewhere around these lines. And if it's not, that means, well, if it's pushed up all the way up there, that means that someone has to come and clear it out. And if they do decide to do that, and if Baron's up at the same time as well, that means we have the opportunity to pressure Baron now, and we have the opportunity to maybe grab Baron as well. The reason being is because if you look at it, that's the furthest, bottom is the furthest, it's all the furthest proximity away from Baron. So if they grab this bot turret, or if they go for the wave that's crashing down into bot, and they're the furthest proximity away from Baron, that means we could just go there and they'll take them longer to get to us. So we could pressure that Baron a lot easier if we grab this bottom inhibitor. That's the only reason to be like behind, or that's the biggest reason behind my decision to not spawn it mid and spawn it down at bottom instead. So then he does that. We end up pretty much just grabbing mid. He spawns it. They end up grabbing bottom inhibitor, or he ends up grabbing bottom inhibitor, but then he decides to just overextend the crap out of it. And I messed up right there as well. The reason I say that the game overextends is because as of right now, as a patch, I think it's 8.9 right now, or 8.10 maybe. But they did a buff, or they did a nerf or change to Herald, where his health, like the way it works now, so if you pop his eye, it takes down a lot more health, so he dies sooner, and his impact is much more, it's greater. His first impact on the turret, it's a lot greater. So it's pretty much useless to drag it on. So if you grab that first turret, then you grab it and then you just back off with it unless you have a lot of reinforcements on the Herald, and you can grab the second smack on another turret. But mostly you just want it, spawn it, smack it, and then get out. In that case, especially in Kane's case, he grabbed the turret and instead of just backing out instantly, because the Herald was probably 75% health or so because of the turret damage. After it's 75% health, someone just needs to come and just pop it, and it's pretty much done. And now Kane's left alone in bot lane and with no pressure or anything, which pretty much was happened. I mean, the Yasuo is there, if you can see, and the Herald pretty much just become useless. Instead, just rotate mid, help us out with this, try to grab this as possible. If not, just back and then try to get on the map as soon as possible. And just be here for the backup when they do decide to come in on us or something. I misstep right there. If I didn't misstep right there, I think we could just keep pushing. And if the Kane actually came down to us, and we would have been fine. But that's pretty much it. After that, we just kind of start throwing. We just start getting picked off over and over again, and we just start throwing. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I really wanted to showcase on this VOD. I hope you guys really like that. Again, if you guys have any questions about it or any concerns about it, any comments or anything, leave them down in the comments down below. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys give it a like and as well as a subscribe button. I'll be posting a lot more educational content like this and try to improve as I go along the way. I also do have a Twitch stream where I Twitch stream, and I pretty much just break down my thought process and explain to people what I'm doing in my games, as well as answer questions and interact with a chat. If you definitely want to check it out, I'll leave the link down below in the description, and I hope to see you guys there. Thank you very much. Bye.